interested. I could teach you. I doubt it. She eyed the instrument. I suppose you want to keep it. But he hadn't heard her, as he'd crashed his way through something that sounded to Clare as if the music book was upside down. Yes, there was the piano. It was just after 11:30 when her phone buzzed, and she wondered if he needed a lift home after all. Taxis ordered for 1:30, no need to wait up. Love you. A. Kiss, kiss, kiss. P.S. Your sergeant is now sporting a gold lame mini dress. Photos to follow. She smiled at the idea of Chris, her burly sergeant, in a mini dress. No doubt there'd be some sore heads in the morning. She forced herself up and off the sofa. Whistling to Benji, she opened the back door to let him out for a last pee. He scampered round the garden for a minute, then trotted back inside, settling himself in his basket. She locked the door, switched off the lights, and headed upstairs to bed. It was past 2 when Benji's barking heralded the sound of voices and a car door slamming outside. The front door opened and closed, the DCI whispering to the little dog. She waited for the creak of the stairs, but instead heard the squeak as he opened the sitting room door. Maybe he was fetching a glass of water. And then her heart sank, as the sound of the piano being played by a very drunk DCI drifted up the stairs. Monday. Chapter 2. Good night, then? DS Chris West rubbed his eyes. Yeah, it really was. I'm still recovering. And the gold mini dress? Claire raised an eyebrow. Dunno. Someone produced it. Said they'd buy me a pint if I put it on. Seemed like a sweet deal. Claire regarded him. I've seen worse, to be honest. She hesitated. Thanks for inviting Al. He didn't have to, but he really enjoyed it. No probs. He's a cool guy. When he's not being a boss. She smiled. Yeah, he is. Said he'd sold his house. He has. Moved all his stuff in. Yep. Must be a bit crowded. Daisy Cottage is not that big. They were in the station kitchen, waiting for the kettle to boil. Claire glanced over her shoulder and moved to close the door. Chris raised an eyebrow. Don't tell me he has a sex machine. Worse. He waited. A piano. What? A real piano? One of those big jobs? Nah, digital. Quite compact, really. How quaint. Does he play? Her face fell. Jazz, Chris. He plays jazz. He considered this. Do you mean big band stuff, or the when does the tune start stuff? Claire sighed. The latter. If he'd even play something, well, something I'd recognise. He'll have you nodding away in smoky clubs while the drummer goes off in a 5-minute solo before you know where you are. It's all right for you. Tell you what, Inspector. I'll swap your DCI's jazz piano for Sarah's mum's incessant to-do lists. And the table plan has to be done again because no one told us 2 of the guests at table 6 haven't spoken for years. The kitchen door opened and Sarah looked in. Chris's face fell, no doubt wondering if he'd been overheard. She eyed him, then turned back to Claire. Suspicious death over at Albany High. Looks like one of the pupils. A tall woman with short dark hair was standing just inside the main glass door, her hands clasped in front. Claire and Chris drove into one of the visitors' spaces and stepped out of the car. Seeing them, the woman pressed a button on the wall and the glass door swung open. She was simply dressed in dark trousers and a bolero jacket, a lanyard with an ID badge round her neck. Claire thought she might be in her early 40s and, on any other day, the model of efficiency. But today her expression was one of anguish. Alice and Greg, she said, moving forward to greet them. Head teacher. Claire introduced herself and Chris. If you could show us? Alison nodded and stepped back to let them in. They passed into the cool interior of the school and followed the head teacher towards a set of double doors. We can cut